Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the second live session on fundamentals of artificial intelligence. I would love to take any queries that you have. So you can put your queries on the chat box. And there are a couple of queries that we have collected beforehand. I will try to address these first. So there are only two queries that we have received from you on the mail circulated. So one is asking about how many field in the job sector this course is used. This is by Chavi Rathore. So Chavi, as we see the progress made by fields of study such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and its huge application to robotics and mechatronics, many of the work that is being carried out in different fields today is being automated, and we could see such automation really percolating almost any field of study, be it healthcare, be it things like surveillance and traffic monitoring. So I would say a fundamental course in artificial intelligence would definitely a very good addition to your CV if you are looking for a job. Now, the second question is from Sahil Kaushik Dev. It says, can you kindly direct us to how to solve the spam message problem which was there in assignment 7? Oh, okay, great. So that I thought this was a very simple problem. Shahil, it is an application of Bayes' theorem. So you have to really just apply the Bayes' law to understand and the different probabilities that I had given. Like you could see that in the problem, probability of the word free appearing in a message and the message being spam was given. So you had the probability of free and spam. And so then you were given the probability of spam, and from that you could derive the other problem. So it was just an application of Bayes' theorem. That's all I can say about that problem right now. If you still have certain doubts, you can get back to me on email and try to discuss how to apply these different scenarios of the spam filter in terms of SMS messages that we had given the database of. And I would love and I'd be very happy to clarify your doubts. So I have no more queries to address. I can see there is Surya Tej saying good afternoon. So good afternoon, Surya. Do you have any queries or any suggestions to take forward our discussion? So I can see 5 people watching now live. It would be nice if you take this opportunity to clarify your doubts or give me your candid feedback so that we can really look at that criticism in a positive manner and strive to improve the delivery of the course. This live session is more of a discussion with the learners rather than a monologue from my side. So it would be nice if you would raise queries and I would try to address these. So I can see another learner, Manojit Chaudhary, there saying good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Manojit. It would be nice if you let us know how you're enjoying the course and if you have any queries or suggestions to make. Okay, Manojit Chaudhary is now asking about a search algorithm A star. So he says it will be helpful if you explain. Okay, so we were talking of graph search here, and it is an informed graph search. It's the A star algorithm, where you are trying to use an estimate of the cost of reaching the goal node from the current node. So you have a path from the start to the goal, and you are on that search path at a particular node n. So you have two costs now, the cost of coming to that node and an estimate of the cost of going from that node to the goal node. And when you use this heuristic function f that has as these two components and g plus h, you are trying to use the information and of getting a path to the goal using this problem domain information. We have this informed search technique called A star. Now it's interesting to note that this technique was first developed by Nielsen and his group in Stanford Research Institute while they were trying to do path planning for a mobile platform which is called Shaky. And here it is about getting into the goal with possibly a as minimal amount of computation and that you really want to do. So in a way you are using some form of heuristic information. So A star is informed graph search method that we have covered in our very initial lectures, if you remember, when I was teaching you how to do problem solving as search, and there if you remember the example, we were trying to use the case of an 8 puzzle and trying to really use some heuristic information such as the number of misplaced tiles counted to really get a feeling of how far you are from the goal. So that was the estimate, and that heuristic, if you really look at the lower bound of this and really think of having to come to a point where that estimate of the path from the current node to the goal all is a lower bound, and then you will end up really creating the breadth first algorithm, which is like expanding every node at every level. So that's about A star. So now we have Peter's asking another question. He says, I am from mechanical background. Could you please let me know where problems like spam email given in assignment number 7 can be found? Okay, so I have covered the biases explanation or the biases law that we are trying to use in the spam filter algorithm, rather the problem, and I have given that in the lecture itself. So the lecture itself, you could see the problem. Basically, what am I saying? If you remember the problem, let me recall the problem for you. We were talking of a number of messages that are there, and out of that, a couple of them are actually identified as spam. So you were told all how many of them are spam, what percentage of them are spam, and then we had given you some percentage, like the first problem at least we can and do it here. The first problem said that identify what is the probability that a particular message had the term free and it is also spam. So you would look at this probability given to you, which is the percentage that it is both free and spam. So that was like something like 3.57 percent given, and then the probability that it was spam was like 13.4%. So from that you could get to what I was asking in the first problem, that you could really identify the probability that it is free. The word free is there, and it's categorized is to be spam as well. So basically I would say please look up the lecture in module 7 where I had spoken of biases theorem. So the simplest formulation would be like probability of A given B. What would that be? So it would be like probability A intersection B divided by probability of B. So something like that. So these rules are to be applied one after another to really get to that problem. That problem is a very simple application of the biases law. That's all I can say. As for where you'll get them in the lecture notes itself in week 7, or if you want you can look up any book on AI which deals with the biases theorem. So if there are no users and no learners available and no questions being asked, we will lose an opportunity to interact with you. Okay, if there are no more queries and no learners around, we will call it a day and end our live streaming. Thank you very much. Does it happen like this?